Don't ever, ever let something... First of all, the people who are going to be critical to you ain't worth talking to in the first place. If they can't look at you, to enter no one is to empty oneself. If you can't look at somebody and understand that they're just a good person to begin with, and leave them alone, let them breathe the way they want to breathe. If you've got to say bad things, then you ain't worth being in their same air. That's why Buddha did go to the mountaintop, because people are so confused. The only thing that is sure in this life is get a dog, feed him, and love him, and he'll love you forever.
That's true.
You see? But give a human a brain, and they get confused through insecurities.
I know.
And it takes many, many, many years, many, many, many years of self-examination of yourself before you can really, really become where you would say Buddha or the monks or anybody else. It doesn't mean that I'm in that religion. I have studied all these religions. But the thing lies is that he said there is no answer.
Guys, how much time will we get to talk? Hi, this is Dawn Eden here with you for Video Wave, and I'm very honored tonight to have as my guest, all the way from California, Mr. Dick Dale, who's playing at Maxwell's, the basement of which we are in right now.
I thought you said you weren't going to get that close.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Now this is a good story because
inside joke. That's
no. I want to explain this because I, as regular viewers know, I like to be outrageous, but I told Dick I wasn't going to be quite as outrageous with him because he's married, and he explained to me the sort of outrageous things that go on during his stage shows.
Well, no, I mean, I got the greatest wife in the world because she's my road manager, and so all the guys put the hit on her and say, God, what a hot chick, you know, and so I don't step into her airspace, you know, and I'm signing everything from, I hate to tell you all of that, I don't hate to, because I enjoy signing what I sign.
You can say anything.
They go, Dick, sign me.
Have you ever signed someone's dick?
No, I have not done that. And you sound like Howard Stern right there. That's funny. I mean, I love him too because he comes straight out and shocks everybody and says the truth, you know, and then people are afraid to face the truth. They don't want to look in the mirror. But I enjoy signing what I sign, and Jill goes, oh, let them have fun. He goes home with me anyway. So
that's great. Now, for those of us who are coming into Dick Dale late in life.
I can't believe she said that.
That's
cool.
Thank you.
That is so cool. I can't
well, can I join your band? Anyway, for those of us who are coming to this man late in life, it may ring a bell if I tell you that he is the, quote, king of the surf guitar, except for the last I heard he was not surf. Was surf, but is not surf. He is alternative, but then you say you're not alternative anymore.
Well, I'm not saying anything. What I'm saying is that, sure, I've been given the crown of the king of the surf guitar by the people I've surfed with, you know, from the beginning of time, and that's a wonderful title, and I've respected it, and I've kept it that way, and now it's time to hang it on the wall. Why? Because what we're playing is not surf, and it is much more powerful. It's been like KUSF of San Francisco gave me their 100 playlist on the alternative rock charts and on the CMJ charts and said, here, Dick, look at this. And I didn't recognize one of the 100 bands nor one of the songs, but Dick Dale was #1. Now, that's on alternative rock. Now, all of a sudden, we go to Texas. Now, Texas is one of the main streams where everybody comes every year to buy all the instruments. They come from Japan, everywhere. It's a big...
the South by Southwest convention.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, here we are playing at the Hard Rock Cafe in Dallas, Texas, where they had my guitar on the wall and surfboards and things like that. And everybody that was there, everything from... what do you want to call them? I don't know what to call them. From shaved heads to pierced
and that sort of thing,
and everything, and the whole works, everything, all walks.
So you attract all sorts of different crowds.
There was 7-year-old kids there that their parents brought. I mean, there was college professors. Everybody with their motorcycle jackets were there. The gangs were there. Everybody.
Now, just to give the punchline, you told me just before we started that it's not surf now. It's not alternative. It's dick music.
No, it's what? You're so funny. All right, wait. I was standing there, I goes, what are we going to call this music? You guys want to give it a different name. I goes, first of all, you guys are following me all over the United States. All right, all walks now. And they're going, yeah. I goes, well, the Grateful Dead, they've got the Deadheads. What am I going to call you? And they said, we're the Dickheads. So now we have a shirt called, with the big mask of Tribal Thunder, one of the masks on Tribal Thunder on the back, it says, I'm a dickhead, and it has the mask, the bone skull mask, feathered mask, and then underneath it says Tribal Thunder, and then my guitar in the front, it's a 2-incher, and with the name Dick Dale. Now, when we got to Texas, they said, man, what you're playing is not surf music, it's too far above. Yes, above. I've gone and taken everything to a higher level with more intensity. So I said, what shall I call it? Yeah, they've been calling it alternative rock. And then they said, yeah, but man, it's got its own sound, it's got its own sound. So what'll I call it? And they all yelled out, in Texas. Dick rock. So I says, holy shit. So then now they're going, dickheads love dick rock. And this, Beavis and Butthead got a dickhead shirt. So, I mean, all of a sudden we've got this cult following all over that the critics are saying and the news media is saying, and it's called the Dickheads Love Dick Rock. Now, what the problem is, and I would like you to help me if you can, because we'll give a writing address or whatever to contact me, is that what do you call Dick Dale now, so no longer than the King of the Surf Guitar? Because when you walk down the street and you see a poster and it says Dick Dale, what can you say he is to make you want to come and see him?
I have to interrupt you because we're about to show your video, but I think that Clapton gave up the moniker God a long time ago, so I think that's open, up for grabs.
No, he can't.
Now we're about to see a video called Nitro. Which we're going to hear more about how it was made after it was shown. Here.
That was written for the snowboarder. That's for people who live on the edge. Everything I did on Tribal Thunder was written. It was an angry album and a very spiritual album and a very sensitive album. Was written for our children, Trail of Tears, and all the other things were an anger of because of the way the earth has been desecrated by the people who are the
I want to talk more about that when we come back, just to make sure that we have all the details for our viewers who are trying to keep up with our stream of consciousness. Tribal Thunder is the name of the album. High Tone is the that hurts! High Tone is the label, and Dick Dale and Tribal Tech is the band. Nitro is the video. That was Nitro by the Dick Dale and Tribal Tech. Sorry, I was going to say the Dick Dale Tribe.
The Dick Dale Tribe.
And I'm here with Dick Dale. My name's Dawn Eden. You're watching Video Wave. We're in the basement of Maxwell's with
We're in a dungeon
with Dick Dale. Now, you were telling me a great story about the shooting of that video, Nitro.
Well, I'm a pilot, and I have we have a private airport in the high desert up in 29 Palms, which is about 2,000 feet up from Palm Springs, California. And it's really neat. The town only has about 10,000 people, and it's like the town of Mayberry. And we don't lock any doors, we don't lock any cars or anything like that, or the houses. And that's the way it would sure be nice to see this world become again, which it is not anymore. And that's one of the reasons why I'm on tour. That's one of the reasons why I wrote Tribal Thunder, because of my anger of the destruction of what's happening, not only the earth, but our own children in itself. That's what Trail of Tears was for. And the new one is called Unknown Territory, and I was fortunate enough to be given an eagle feather by the daughter of an Indian chief in saying thank you for respecting our heritage and the way you feel we should come back to the way we are. Now, Nitro was done because of those who live on the edge, such as the snowboarders. I don't surf anymore because the water's polluted to the hilt. So now I'm into snowboarding, which is why I wrote Nitro.
Now, didn't your girlfriend Arlene teach you to surf?
Arlene, no, she didn't teach me to surf. I met Arlene when I was surfing. In fact, she ran across my board, and with her board, and that's how we met. And we were together for about 8 years, and a wonderful, wonderful person, and we keep in contact as much as we can to say hello to each other.
Now, going back to the surf music alternative thing, I find it interesting that you've talked about being alternative rather than surf, because to me the two have always been interlinked, because like when the punk wave came around in the 70s, you were heralded as a forefather of punk.
Well, guitar players said, take away the surf title of the King of the Surf Guitar title from Dick Dale, and you have the father of heavy metal rock. Now, if you can understand why that's all about, and I asked them, and they says, well, anybody who blows up 48 amplifiers and speakers, and you're the first power player in the world, which was true. And that's what I'm playing through right now is the original prototype model of the Fender Showman amplifier. That was
built for you.
That's right, and because I wanted to get a big, fat, thick sound like that of Gene Krupa drumming. Drums was my first instrument.
That I think is fascinating. I'm just backtracking a little just because you speak quickly, and I want to make sure people get it.
It's a big story. Too bad we didn't have 2 hours.
I know. You'll have to come back next time you're in town. We'll talk some more. He just said Gene Krupa drumming. Now, the fascinating thing for anyone who's ever heard Gene Krupa of the Benny Goodman Band drum, legendary drummer, there really is a connection in terms of pure feel between the way that Gene Krupa drummed and the way that Dick Dale plays
guitar. It's sexual. Music is sexual, and the reason why it's very sensual and sexual moving. Gene Krupa went to the natives, and he watched the drummers, how they would drum to mesmerize them when they danced. So they would have their fertility dances, and they would actually hypnotize by keeping the straight driving beat. Now, people who become very technical, they go, then you wake them up. That's not mesmerizing. That is just showing off to your peers who are in the business. I do not play to musicians. I play to people. So I took that feeling that Gene Krupa got. I learned how to play drums, and then I took that as I play on the guitar playing drums, because my strings that I bang on, most guitar players play on like 6, 7s, 9s, and 10s. My smallest string is a 14 gauge. It goes to an 18 gauge.
These are thick strings. This is what he's saying for you non-musicians out there.
It goes up to a 38, 48, and
they
a 58.
Would break the average person's finger.
It's a 60 gauge would be my high string.
Oh my
now,
God.
And they call them bridge cables, but that gives me the big fat sound. And I melt picks. The picks are very hard, stiff picks for you players, and then they melt in half when I'm playing. But,
oh, that's great.
So the surfing sound was actually a takeover or a mixture of two things. I've raised lions and tigers for the last 30 years. The power of the African lion and the tiger and all these animals gave me this feeling of such incredible strength to realize that the human being is really nothing compared to an 800-pound Siberian tiger. When you get into the ocean, the human is nothing also. When you paddle out to a 15-foot wave, you'll pray to the old God and say, please, get me over this wave, and it'll humble you.
So your music is sort of overpowering the way that the water
It is exactly what Mother Earth is all about. My lions and tigers and the earth, the surfing. And so the kids that I surfed with called it King of the Surf Guitar, the thunder of the surf and my animals together. Wow. And the martial arts of karate, being able to focus and go through solid objects. Wow. That's what it's all about, concentrating.
I can tell that we haven't even reached the tip of the iceberg. Haven't even scratched the surface here. Would you like to give out your address for people wanting to write to you?
Yeah, those of you that can call this music a name or give it a name, well, of course, the dickheads are calling it Dick Rock, but I mean, if you want to be serious, or call Dick Dale a new thing, whatever it is, of what he's playing to explain to people that have never seen him. First is the fax number. It's on 24 hours. It's 619-367-7003. The other one is another number called 619-367-0588, and you can leave messages, or you can write to P.O. Box 1713, 1713. That's 29 Palms. You can write 29 Palms, California, 92277. And just barrage me with your mail, because I love it.
Well, I'd like to thank you so much for coming down. This has been my most fun interview ever. This was Dawn Eden for Video Wave.
She's going to be a big star interviewer, I'm telling you.
Thank you.
I sign navels, I sign crotches, I sign it all on stage with ink.
Wow.
And the girls come up to her, and they go to her, and they say,